Shalom, shalom. You're listening to Rabbi Simon Altaf in the Tiger's Den. Now, I'm going to look at the Brit HaChadashah, the New Testament, a little bit today, clear up some of the confusion and some of the difficulties that is caused by Paul's letters. And we're going to look at the letter Galatians, letter to the Galatians, and we're going to look at one particular verse. We're going to look at chapter 5. And I have the Brit Chadashah open in this iPad of mine, and I can read one particular verse to you and give you some understanding. Chapter 5, stand fast therefore in the liberty wherewith Messiah has made us free, and be not subject again with the yoke of slavery. Now, a lot of people in the Christian world, and history is witness to this fact, they have taken these verses and twisted them and said to the people that you are no longer under the law. Okay, what law? They will go so far as to tell you that the law is Torah. Torah, the law of Moses. Every church in the country, up and down the country, maybe there's some, obscure church that doesn't know this, but majority of the churches out there will tell you that the law is finished, that the law is no more, that you cannot be a slave to the law. Okay. And most of you have bought that hook, line and sinker. And you said, yeah, great. We don't need to do nothing because Paul said so, because my pastor said so. You see, here's the reality. Paul didn't say that. You have misunderstood Paul. And you have totally taken Paul the wrong way around. See, here is speaking about that stand fast therefore in the liberty. Liberty means freedom. Where with Messiah has made us free, and be not subject again with a yoke of slavery. What does that mean? Yoke of slavery. But if we were put in slavery by the law, then why would God take Israel, the children of Israel that were brought out in the Exodus from Egypt, why would God take them out of slavery and put them back into slavery? Does that make sense? Is that what he's talking about? Think about it. God's not going to take children of Israel from slavery and put them into slavery. He took them from slavery and put them into freedom. Gave them the law of Moses, the life, freedom, covenants therein, so that they could have freedom, they could have salvation, they could have rescue. So these verses have been totally misunderstood. So what does yoke of slavery mean? Well, I have footnoted comments over here. And you can read the footnotes. I will put a link for the Brit HaChadashah, the New Testament, New Covenant writings that have just been posted on Amazon, and they can be purchased from Amazon. The latest edition is a Dalit edition. Don't buy any other edition other than the Dalit one. That's just been put out 2 days ago from today. Today is what? March 31st. So look for March 28, around about there. There's a new edition put out on Amazon and Lulu. And you can buy the hardback, or you can buy the softback, or you can get the paperback, or you can get the Kindle edition from Amazon. But that is the edition you want. And this talks about the yoke of slavery. Well, what's the yoke of slavery? Rabbinic law. That's the yoke of slavery. Why? Because of the myriads and myriads and myriads of commandments, thousands of commandments. What do? They make us slave to those commandments. I have books over here behind me. Mishnah Torah. I have the Shulchan Aruch, I have the Kuzari, I have Talmudic law, I have, my goodness, over here, I also have the Mishnah. I have everything. This room full of books, and I have other rooms full of books as well. The point is this, that what do these books teach you? Rabbinic law. They talk about rabbinic law. Do you want to be in rabbinic law, or do you want to be in God's law? There's a whole set of difference over here. Rabbinic law will enslave you. That is what Paul was speaking about. Yoke of slavery. He goes on. Behold, I, Paulos, say to ye, that if ye be circumcised, Messiah shall profit ye nothing. Suddenly, all the pastors jump on it. Circumcision. You don't have to cut your foreskin. You don't have to circumcise. Messiah set us free. Really? That's a surprise to me, isn't it? I'm very surprised by that, because most people don't understand Brit Milah, circumcision as we read it. It actually has a particular meaning with the first century text. a particular meaning attached to it. It's a very loaded word. It doesn't just mean circumcising your flesh. It means more than that. Circumcision here means attaching yourself to rabbinic law. That is why he's comparing. Paul is doing a light and heavy. Kal v'chomer. He's doing a teaching in which he's teaching you that if you're going to go and espouse yourself to Judaism and place yourself under the rabbis, then what's the point of the Messiah? He freed you from all that. In other words, the Messiah came, and what did the Messiah say? Not one jot or tittle shall depart. He said, I did not come here to destroy, but to show you properly how to obey the law. Matthew chapter 5. I suggest you go read that. Are you telling me that Paul was going against the Messiah? I don't think so. See, here, you could completely be wrong if you said, oh, we don't need to circumcise. Circumcision was a covenant that was given to Abraham. Our forefather Abraham received this covenant in Genesis chapter 17, where he was told to circumcise his entire household, including his servants, who were not necessarily following the same faith as Abraham. But having said that, so what does that teach you? Circumcision was part of a covenant. But we're just talking about circumcision of the flesh. We're not talking about the 999 commandments that the rabbis invented on top of that. We're not talking about those commandments. That is what Paul is referring to. Therefore, Paul says to you, for I testify again to each man that is circumcised, that is a debtor to the whole Torah. Messiah is become of no effect to you. Whosoever you is justified by the Torah, you are fallen from favor. So I put a footnote over here to explain that this is not necessarily, you see, nomos in the Greek doesn't necessarily always mean the law of Moses. Nomos has many different applications. Nomos can mean human law. Nomos can mean rabbinic law. Human law could be Gentile law, Roman law. Human could be any Gentile country's law. And nomos can also mean a human law, and nomos can also refer to the law of Moses. Different applications. Well, we were never a debtor to the Torah. We were never a debtor in any particular way. If we were debtors, it will tell us so. We're not debtors to the Torah. Torah gives us life. Torah gives us breathing space. It gives us freedom, liberty. So we got to understand these words in the correct context. Where Paul is referring to human law, he's not referring to Torah law. It's totally different. So you could read this totally wrong and say, well, I don't have to be circumcised. You see, here, the point of circumcision is not your salvation. See, this is where people make the mistake. They think, oh, if I don't circumcise, I'm not going to be saved. Or if I circumcise, I'm going to be saved. That is not the point. The point is very simple. Your salvation is already secure in the Messiah. But you got to be obedient to His voice, to the voice of Yahweh, who is Yahweh in the flesh, whether you believe it or not. So what you going to do about it? You have to really circumcise for the covenant that was made with Abraham. It's the Abrahamic covenant that we are trying to be part of. You're not inventing a new religion over here. It's not a religion, it's a way of life. We really got to take it seriously. Whenever you see the term yoke of slavery, think human law, rabbinic Torah, rabbinic law. And I just showed you rabbinic Torah. My desk is full of rabbinic Torah, Torah, Mishnah. You know, I've got the Talmudic books over here. I've got all these different rabbis on the shelf. And this is what Paul is referring to. Because if you espouse yourself to Judaism today, rabbinic Judaism, you're going to be under slavery, yoke of slavery. Your family is going to be unhappy. You're going to have trouble in the home because you can't keep up with it. You just can't. Whilst the Torah is very simple. Torah law is very simple. It doesn't put you in bondage and slavery. So next time you read Paul's letters, I encourage you to read them properly with the proper interpretation. I encourage you to get the Brit HaChadashah, the New Testament, Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls. It is available. Get it, study it, and help yourself and help your families, help your friends. Edify yourselves. understand what the words of Paul say and don't mistake them for what they don't say. So I leave you with this. Rabbi Simon Altaf. Shalom, shalom.